Good evening, Sunday night, North Carolina Vinyl Picker here. Tonight we're going to go ahead and do a deep dive into my records that are my favorite jazz fusion records. And these are going to be 30 of them of my top. Years ago, back in the day, I used to listen to Alice Cooper and David Bowie and back in high school and Aerosmith and ELP and all them bands. Then I got older, I started listening to some fusion. Started listening to Pat Metheny, started listening to Steps Ahead. I started listening to a whole lot of different bands. As I got older, I got into prog, more so into prog, and I, listened to Steven Wilson later on. Early on, of course, it was Genesis and ELP and a slew of bands, Gentle Giant, the list goes on forever, go down that wormhole. But now, after I've rebought my whole entire vinyl collection, I've come to realize that the only records that really mean anything to me are my jazz fusion records, which I've established quite a collection. I'm now currently selling off all my CDs, except for my jazz CDs, and they're in my store, in the Discogs store. And how you get the Discogs is you go in, look under Discogs, and then you look for the Big Chief Vinyl 57, and then there's a list there of all my CDs, LPs, VHS tapes. There's DVDs, there's Blu-rays, there's cassettes, there's all kinds of stuff in there. So recently I've been getting into mid-century jazz, and that is the prelude to the fusion movement with Miles and Coltrane and the like, and John McLaughlin. So we're going to kick this off. I'm going to go ahead and show them 30 records and talk a little bit about them. And then if there's time at the end, I'll show my weekly pickups, and I have a slew of them. It's been a real busy week this week. So coming in at number 1. These are in no particular order. I don't think how I could do it. I don't see how I could love one more than the next, but I love them all. And I probably could pick another 30 over here. If you look over here to my, here, that's my complete jazz collection, fusion and otherwise. But yeah, let's go ahead and do number 1, Al Di Meola. This is my favorite Al Di Meola album. It's Elegant Gypsy, and it has Race with the Devil on the Spanish Highway. And me and my nephew Peter, we went and seen him a couple years ago down in Orlando, and he was just phenomenal. He just blew my socks off. I always wanted to see Al Di Meola, and I got a chance to see him with my nephew, and that was special. So yeah, so Al Di Meola coming in at number 1. Love Al Di Meola. Been listening to Al Di Meola since I was a teenager. So that's a long time ago. And that's also a promo. Number 2 on the list. This list gets, this is a heavy list, let me tell you. Billy Cobham, Spectrum. Now I love Crosswinds too, that's the second album. But this might not be the best, but it's certainly my favorite. I love the Spectrum, and it has the incredible guitar player on here of, let's see, Tommy Bolin. Tommy Bolin plays guitar on this, and I should have known that. And but his solo albums are not worth picking up. But this here, he just unloads on this album here. And Tommy Bolin is just phenomenal. And this is my favorite one. When I picked this up at the store, I forget where I got it. It was so heavy, and I realized that I guess it was a reissue, 180 gram. But it plays beautifully. It sounds incredible. So there you go. Coming in at number 2, Billy Cobham, Spectrum. Number 3. Number 3 would have to be Jean-Luc Ponty, and this is Enigmatic Ocean. This is also a promo. This has Alan Holdsworth on here playing guitar, and he just shreds on this album, and this album is totally incredible. Another album that I've been listening to for 40 plus years. So coming in at number 3, Enigmatic Ocean, the Jean-Luc Ponty. Coming in at number 4 is going to be a double. Coming in number 4 would be, coming in with this album here, Friday Night in San Francisco, which was Di Meola, McLaughlin, and Paco de la Chia. I've been listening to this album for a long time, and I've seen the video, and I think I have it on VHS or Blu-ray or somewhere. And this was an incredible show. And then they did it with Larry Coryell, and then they called it The Meeting of the Spirits, and that's also another mind blower if you get a chance to see that. And then this year, which is probably going to be in my top 10, which is coming up next week, my top 10 records and CDs of the year. This one here, Saturday night in San Francisco, and this is the following night, and different set. And this one here is incredible. So yeah, if you get a chance, pick those up. Those are my top 4. Let's go to number 5. Number 5's coming in. It's coming in hot. Bill Bruford. Bill Bruford. I couldn't pick just one Bill Bruford album, or Bruford with Holsworth, and he was in the band, and Jeff Berlin, and they were just smoking it. And they got to the 3rd album, Gradually Going Tornado, and then that was it. The record company didn't want to go any further than that. So, but this album here is the greatest hits from Bruford, and I picked this one because it encompasses all 3 of those albums, and I didn't want to just show one. I wanted to go ahead and highlight the man, Mr. Bill Bruford, a jazz drummer. He brought that jazz sound to Yes early on. The Alternative Man, Bill Evans. Not the keyboard player Bill Evans, but the saxophone player Bill Evans, and John McLaughlin's on this album, and this album is just incredible, as well as this album here. It's kind of like a bookends. This one here is called Living in the Crest of the Wave. So if you can find this one, and then you can find this one, and then you're gonna later on in this here, you're gonna see a little bit more Bill Evans. But I love Bill Evans, and not the keyboard player, but the saxophone player. Bill Evans, a keyboard player, I haven't really gotten into yet. That's more of quieter music, I assume. Coming in at number, where are we at? Coming in at number 7, Borelli LaGreen on CD. I've never seen this on an LP, but I would scoop it up if I ever did. And this album is just incredible. He's a Borelli LaGreen this is on Blue Note, and he's just an incredible artist. If you get a chance, I have 2 or 3 of his records. This is my favorite. It's called Inferno, and yeah, so give this one a check. Coming in at number 8, Unorthodox Behavior with Mr. Bill Bruford. I'm sorry, with Phil Collins. It seemed like Bruford and Collins were all over the prog and the fusion world in the 70s. But yeah, Phil Collins is on here, and he tears it up along with the rest of Brand X and Percy Jones and all them guys. And this is their very first album out of the box, and it really shows what Phil Collins can do. He did some drumming in Genesis, but if you want to hear Phil Collins picking up them sticks and laying them down, you need to get this album right here, Unorthodox Behavior. Coming in at number 8. Coming in at number 9 is a band from the 80s, Group 87. I've talked to a couple people about this album. This is a great one to pick up if you get a chance to pick it up. And it has these guys on there. And these guys are Peter Menu, Patrick O'Hearn, and Mark Isham. And those guys there are all new age artists, but this album here is more of a new age, more of a fusion album, fusion prog rock album. And if you get a chance, pick this one up. It's really, really tight, and it's really good. It's got that 80s sound, but it's really pushing the jazz forward, the fusion jazz forward into the 80s. Number 9 coming in. This album here, as I've been listening to forever too. This is James Newton Howard and Friends, and I think the guy from Toto is in here. Jeff Porcaro on drums, Joe Porcaro on percussion, Steve Porcaro on synths, and David Pache, he's on synthesizers. But this also has more of an 80s sound to it, but this album is incredible. James Newton Howard and Friends. If you can find this one here, good luck. I think I have a couple of copies on CD, but this album is not easy to find as well. Coming in at number 9, this seems to be a favorite of a lot of people. Wired, Jeff Beck. This was with Jan Hammer, and he did a couple albums with Jeff Beck. He's just another, everybody knows who Jeff Beck is. He started off a more of a blues, and now he's doing a lot of different stuff. And he's gone through all different kinds of phases, but this was the phase where he was doing jazz fusion, and it's just an incredible album. You could check out Lead Boots on that one. Number 11 is going to be another double, and we're going to talk about Kazumi Watanabe. Kazumi Watanabe was a Japanese fella, and he made a couple great albums with Jeff Berlin and again Bill Bruford. So if you can check these out, and there's also a laser disc out there, and also it's probably you can catch it on VHS or even on a DVD of this whole concert. I think the concert is also on YouTube. But check this out, these guys, it is a mind blower. This one here, Kazumi Watanabe, just an exceptional guitar player. Okay, where are we at? Coming in number 12. This album here, another album I've been playing forever, is Mr. Larry Coryell and Alphonse Mouzon back together again. It's a great fusion album, has a little bit of vocals in it, and just an album that I've enjoyed for a long, long time. That one there is coming in at number 12. Number 13. Number 13 is an album that I just recently got into this band. I used to listen to Mahavishnu back in the day. A guy I went to school with turned me on to him, and then I kind of got away from me. So now I got the whole catalog, and this is my favorite of theirs, Visions of the Emerald Beyond. It's also the favorite of Andy Edwards. If you get a chance, check out his YouTube channel. He's a professional drummer. He's been in a lot of bands. He was in Frost. He was in IQ. He also went on tour with Robert Plant for a couple years, and he's an awesome guy, and he has really great videos. So sub him up and check out Andy Edwards. If you want to know anything about fusion jazz, this guy knows a whole lot more than I do. I enjoy the music, but I don't have the knowledge he does. Well, I'm not a drummer either, and I haven't met all these people. But yeah, this is his favorite Mahavishnu album. I love Birds of Fire too, but this album here with the Jean-Luc Ponty on it is just incredible. And this one here is the Visions of the Emerald Beyond. Number 14. Number 14 is a band that started off with, again, Bill Bruford was in the band, National Health. This is their second album of Cues and Cures, and this would be my favorite album of theirs. I love the first album too, and then they made a third album, but this one here would be my favorite, and this one here is coming in at number 14. Goodness sakes here. Number 15, Tony Williams. Tony Williams, Believe It. This is the new Tony Williams Lifetime band. This is a great album too. And this one also has the John McLaughlin on it. And who else plays on this? Alan Holdsworth and Alan Pasqua and Tony Newton rounds out the whole enchilada on this album. Talk about a great album. They made a second one album too, called $1 Million Legs, I believe. It wasn't as good as this album. This was the album, yeah. Tony Williams Lifetime, Believe It. Coming in at number 16, Pat Metheny Group. Now, I love Pat Metheny. If I was on a desert island, they always say, what would you take? And of course, you couldn't play any of them anyway because you don't have power. But if I needed to just keep 20 albums, at least 10 of them would be Pat Metheny albums. And I love Pat Metheny. He's my favorite jazz artist of all time. And this is Travels. This is his live album. I picked this one because he has about 40 records and CDs that I own, and to pick one would be just crazy. So I just picked the live album. This one here covers his ECM period. Yeah. Coming in at number, where are we at? Coming in at number 17? Yeah, coming in number 17 is a band called Ragnarok. These guys are from Sweden. They had 3 albums. I'm still missing the third one, or the first one. I'm missing the first one. I got the second and the third. This is my favorite of the 3. And this album is called Fata Morgana. And this album is just incredible. If you get a chance, give this a listen. This one's a hard one to find. I don't even know if it's going to be on YouTube. But it took me a long time to find this. I had it back in the day. When I did the purge, it was gone. And then I had to find it again. And to find it cheap is not easy. I think I paid $20 for it, but that's incredibly cheap for it. Seeing how it was never released in the US and just has the Swedish release on that. Fata Morgana, number 18. This one here is another burner. This is Return to Forever, and this is my favorite album by theirs. Hymn of the Seventh Galaxy. And this, of course, it has the band with Chick Corea, Stanley Clarke, Bill Connors, and Lenny White. Oh my gosh, this album here kicks major ass. You gotta have this album. So there you go. Hymn of the Seventh Galaxy coming in at number 19. Shadowfax, Watercross Way, their very first album. This is the first original copy cover, and then they redid it with Windham Hill. This album is when Shadowfax actually came out as a fusion band, and before they turned into a new age band. But Chuck Greenberg, this album here, if you get a chance, you see this out in the wild for $1, $5, $10, I advise you to pick it up. You might find the Windham Hill version, which has been remastered, I believe. But if you can find this one, that's the original one, and that's on Passport Records. You know, Passport Records is very cool. Whoo, where are we at? Oh shoot, we're up to number 20. We're getting there. 20 Bundles. Just picked this one up a couple weeks ago. Soft Machine. Of course, Alan Holdsworth's on this, and he just lets loose on this, and he's got some really good guitar parts. So if you get a chance, listen to Soft Machine. And I think I just picked up their second album that I had of theirs. Is coming in the mail. So I'm looking forward to getting that. And I'll probably be showing you that next weekend when we do the new arrivals. Coming in at number 21. Okay, Art, turn the page. Stuart Hamm, Radio Free album off. This guy here is a bass player, and he's just incredible. And I think he plays with Joe Satriani and Holdsworth on this, and he also was on some of Satriani's albums, and I think he might still be in his band. This guy's a bass player extraordinaire, and this album here is another one of those albums that is just cooks all the way through. If you can find his albums, I think the one is called The Urge, and I have like 2 or 3 of his CDs, and I have this. I found this out in the wild for $5. I have a CD copy of this, but just to find this in vinyl in a store, well, I just couldn't put it in my hand. It's one of them times when you're going out picking, and you just can't get it in your hand fast enough, and you kind of look around making sure no one's looking. So you, oh, let me grab that. Don't get near me. Hey now, what are you doing? Okay, woo, where we at? 22. Tony Williams again, coming in hot. If I can find it, see how hot Tony can get it here. He's here, he's pretty hot. Here's Tony Williams' Emergency. This album here's another one. This is one of his early albums, if not his first album. I mean, this wasn't before Miles, but this is when he was on his own. And this album here is just incredible. It's another one of those albums that Tony Williams' Lifetime band. If you can find it, pick it up. I don't think if you want to get a vinyl copy of this, it's going to cost you. So try to get something that's going to be on CD, because that's going to be the way to go on that one. Number 23. Another Tony Williams, John McLaughlin, the Trio of Doom. Whoo! Talk about an album. These guys here really cook it, and they cook it good. So Trio of Doom, coming in at number 23. Number 24 is a Canadian band, Uzeb, and these guys here are Fusion to the Bone. We're at 20 minutes. This one here is called Noisy Nights, and it's really, really good. If you get a chance, pick this one up, or pick some of Uzeb's albums up. Their vinyl albums are hard to find if you can. They're Canadian, and I don't know if they were released in the U.S., but I have a complete collection of all their CDs just about. So that'll have to do. Trying to reproduce all these into vinyl is going to be incredibly hard. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and get a CD player and play some of my old CDs, because I ain't never going to find them on vinyl. And I want to hear them. I want to hear the music. Like Mazzy says, listen to the music. Just listen to the music. Okay, so where are we at? Number 25. the bass player from Yellow Jackets. I could have picked any one of Yellow Jackets albums, but I decided to go ahead and pick Jimmy Haslip's album, and this is called Arc. And I remember when I was working in Orlando, I gave a copy of this. I burned a copy of this and gave it to a guy, and he fell in love with it. He loved it. Rest in peace, brother. Jimmy Haslip, not Jimmy Haslip, my friend. My friend passed away. But Jimmy Haslip, the bass player from the Yellow Jackets, and this is his album called Arc. And if you can find this album, pick it up. This one here will never leave my collection. Coming in at number 25. No, that was Jimmy Haslip. Coming in at number 26 is Level 1. It's the 11th House featuring Larry Coryell. Another great super group of the fusion era. Just wonderful. If you get a chance, listen to any one of their albums. It's good. As far as the 11th House. And speaking of 11th House, we're going to go to number 27. Number 27 is Gong Gazoos. And Alan Holdsworth is on this one. I just picked this one up the other day. I got it for a song. I really got a good price on it. And there's a couple more of Gong's albums that Holdsworth's on that I need to find. But either on vinyl or on CD. So give it a listen. If you can find this album, good luck. This is not another one that's easy to find. It's a UK press. It's got that flimsy cover. And it's got Mr. Alan Holdsworth on there. It's Andy Edwards' favorite guitar player. Number 28. This one here is coming in super hot. Jan Hammer from Mahavishnu. And this is an album called Oh Yeah. And I found a promo. And this was also somebody who Mr. Andy told me to find and pick up. And I love it. I love it. I'm glad I started watching this channel. And I really gotten a lot of suggestions. So, yep, there you go. Number 28. Number 29 is Petite Blonde. This is with Bill Evans again. Has Victor Bailey, Dennis Chambers, Mitchell Foreman, Chuck Loeb, and Bill Evans. The Petite Blonde. Yep. I love Bill Evans. Saxophone player, Bill Evans. Fusion, jazz player, Bill Evans. Yeah. Coming in at number 29 is coming in hot. Let the Juice Loose at the Blue Note in Tokyo. This is a Jazz City, and it's also a Japanese press CD. And yeah, it's got Chuck Loeb, Jim Beard, Daryl Jones on bass, and Dennis Chambers on drums. And they definitely let the juice loose on this one. So pick this one up. Number 30. This is an album that just came out a couple of years ago. Somebody in the vinyl community was telling me about it. I think it was Mr. Bowdry. And it's Hedvig Malmsted Tomlinson. She plays the guitar. And this is a fusion album. His album came out in 2020. This one here, I put it at the bottom of 30, but it could easily be number 1. It's a fusion album. If you love fusion and you haven't heard anything that's been fusion in the last 30, 40 years, pick up Hedvig. And she has a bunch of albums, but this one here is the only one I have at the moment. And any one of these albums, you can probably listen to them on YouTube or Spotify or any of those bands. But go back and listen to them and see if you like them. And if you like my channel, hit me up, subscribe, and hit the button. And that way you'll know the next time the North Carolina Vinyl Picker will be on. I'm going to go ahead and end this one now. That was my top 30 jazz fusion records and CDs. No particular order. They're just all great, great music. If you love jazz fusion, write a comment in the bottom. I like to hear your comments. I can go ahead and answer a lot of your questions without even looking up in Wikipedia or anything. So have a good rest of your evening. We'll be talking to you soon. When I finish this one here, I'm going to go and do another one, and I'm going to show you the picks of the week. So it's going to be a twofer this week. You're going to get 2 shows for the price of 1. Y'all be good out there and support those troops. They're out there fighting for us and keeping our country safe. So y'all take care, and we'll be talking to you soon. North Carolina Vinyl Picker out.